We're Batman at 89. Hello, and welcome once again to Batminute 89, the show that whisks you away to help you lead a different life of fun, action, and adventure as we investigate Tim Burton's Batman 3 days a week. I am one of your hosts, John Parker.
I am the other host, Niall McGowan. I should say, for legal reasons, what John just said, that may not, in fact, happen. So, don't hold us to that. That's not a guarantee. So,
every listener will get one whisking away. That is contractually obliged.
Is it going to be in a Star Wars holiday special style, like whisk, whisk, stir, whisk, 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 stir?
Oh my god! Oh jeez. I hope some people at least appreciate that. I did, yeah. But I don't think anyone else.
Everyone's bound to know what that is by now.
Well, yes, and we are joined today by a very special guest. You may remember from Monday, or from Christmas, in fact. We are joined by filmmaker and blogger Stephanie Palacino.
Hello.
I'm imagining people standing now going, "Who was it Monday? Who was that woman? Oh my god, I can't remember who it was."
Well, they probably got so drunk that they forgot.
It's fine. It's cool. I'm very forgetful.
Yeah.
No, what was I gonna say? Oh man, I completely. What day is this one on?
This will be.
What day is it?
Well, as you know, because we're doing it today, Stephanie. It's Wednesday. It's the day after Boxing Day.
Oh, it's the day after Boxing Day, because I was wondering if it was actually Boxing Day, because then it's still okay to be pretty drunk. Because Boxing Day is because I had no idea what the hell Boxing Day even was until I got here. Because I was like, what the hell's Boxing Day? I used to get calendars, when you get them as a present, and I'd look and it would say, Boxing Day, UK. And I'm like, what?
Also, you do in America, you don't really do Boxing Day at all.
No, we don't do Boxing Day.
Oh, weird.
No, we do not.
Because
yeah, we do.
In Ireland, Boxing Day is the biggest drinking day of the year. It's bigger than St. Patrick's Day.
But hang on, that's Ireland, isn't that every day?
Yeah, that's every day. It's bigger than...
This one is there's a uniformed attempt by people to get together to do it, whereas usually it's a bit more shambolic. But St. Patrick's Day, there's a fair bit of organization. Halloween, there is. And then Boxing Day is usually the one, you can't go into the pubs. They're that crammed full of people.
And New Year's Eve also.
Oh, yeah, New Year's as well. But
that too. Yeah. And then Mondays, and then Thursdays, and then also when the sun is out, when it's raining, if it drops under 20 degrees. Biggest drinking.
Let me tell you, when it goes above 20 degrees, don't get it started.
Oh, God. Well, to be honest, in my current job, as of recording at least, I do take off basically from Christmas Day until the middle of January, so I can just carry the party on. I just keep it going and keep that
I really take advantage of that too, because I keep trying to schedule guests for weekends and stuff, but I only just realize oh yeah, John's got nearly a month off that we could probably record a lot more freely instead of the old Sunday business. So yeah, should take advantage of that.
You should, and we'll take advantage of the fact that we are recording to start talking about minute 77, which is this episode.
It's still the worst scene of the movie. But
jeez, yeah.
They're still trapped in that apartment.
They're trapped here for a while. Oh my god. The minute starts with Vicky giving Bruce what for, and it ends with Bruce nearly revealing the truth. Almost, maybe, kind of. So he's getting there. He's building up to it.
And then we got confirmation. Because we had, a very lengthy discussion of what they did in the bedroom, and as I recall, we had it was Lauren Ashley Carter was here for that, and she brought us to the point where we had to discuss whether we have to beep the word cunnilingus, because we're is it a bad word or it's just a word?
Are you going to beep me a bunch of times?
Oh, don't worry about it.
No, oh well. Okay, funny enough, I'm refreshing myself on this clip. This is clip number 77, right? Yes. Okay, does Bruce Wayne shove her ass down?
Yeah,
sit down, boom. What the? Who does that? Excuse me?
But yeah, so we got Vicky still, giving them what for. She gives the confirmation that they slept together. When she's always oh, we even slept together. I can't believe I did that. And then
didn't get a cutaway of that. Where's that?
Yeah. Well, I insisted for many episodes that they didn't sleep together, so I'm an idiot. I'm going to resign from.
Well, you could say that technically you saw them sleeping in the same room together, she could still just mean that. But yeah,
Nobody says that and means that.
No, that's true. That is no one has ever said that time I slept with you, because we were just literally sleeping.
But and yeah, as you said, she goes like, it must be some kind of, and then he just shoves her down into a chair.
Shut up.
Well, before he goes full crazy like that as well, he's trying to butt in constantly while she's
Stop
speaking.
mansplaining, Bruce.
That's basically what he's doing, isn't it? Because, like, just let her rant for now, man.
Like in real life, you would never do this. Men, do not try this on a woman. All right, that is going to end horrible for you. If she's on a horrible rant and she's angry, let her just rage on. It'll die. But whatever you do, don't interrupt. Just let her go. Just let the fire burn itself out. But if you throw petrol onto this fire, if you shove her down and be like, sit down. Oh.
Yeah, listen to me.
Like whenever, like this has always ended badly. Like the words that always end up badly is like, Stephanie, can you not be so loud? Come on, there's other people here. If I'm like, oh, there are people here.
You're gonna do it 10 times.
There are people here. You don't want me to make a scene? Oh, make the biggest scene ever. Yeah, don't do that.
You can't resist at that point. You've
Right?
got to.
You're like,
It's mandated.
don't do that.
I will say too, a lot of people, because particularly the current climate with all the various harassment things coming out and things like that, and because treatment of women in film is a very sensitive topic these days.
Oh, it definitely is but it is kind of funny to watch like these type of movies where it's like, yeah, no, he just shoves her down. That's cool.
Yeah,
I think, are you meant to feel like you're on Bruce's side? Like, good on him. He shut her up.
Shut that whiny bitch up. Talking way too much. Yep.
That's the vibe. That's the impression
I was being
get.
Batman. That's not my... Yeah, I think so. Like, here I am risking my neck being Batman, and this girl's just whining to me about how I didn't return her phone call.
But I will say also in Bruce's defense though, because they'll be like, oh, this is a very misogynist move. I think he would have done this to anybody, regardless of gender. If this had been like Knox yapping away at him, he would just be like, no, I'm shoving him down as well. So I think, if anything, this is like an equal opportunities move by Bruce.
Yeah, an equal opportunity shoving people. Do not shove people to get them to shut up. Yeah. All right.
Don't shove anyone, regardless.
Keep your hands to yourself. I've taught this to preschoolers. You have to teach this to adults. Like Bruce, just let her go, let her do her thing, and just wait the 20 seconds because that's about what it's gonna take, maybe 30, and that's fine. Just sacrifice those seconds.
But before we leap into the around the same time of the shoving, I have to bring up in the background again another bit of Vicky's decor. This weird wardrobe cupboard thing that's like a pencil. It's shaped like a pencil.
Oh, it's like bamboo? I thought it's like what is this? Let me see.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
The thing is, as they're walking towards, just before he shoves her, in the background,
shoves her.
It looks like a it's got a triangular bottom, comes up into a rectangle, and then it's got a vase on top of it.
Oh, okay.
And what is that? That just looks weird.
It's art, darling.
Oh, it is art. It does look like random crap art, like a modern art. Is it a table? It's a table of some type. Is it? No.
It's what rich people think shows off their wealth. Well, I'm going to get a table, but it's not going to be normal.
I think though it's got like it's got a split in the middle, and there's like a thing that could be construed as being a handle or handles. I think it's like a cupboard though. That
thing to the left, is that what I'm looking at?
Yeah.
Okay, it has the flowers on top of it, so it looks like a stupid table.
Yeah.
Like I'm just thinking it's a stupid table. Like a bad, dumb table. Look, it almost looks like a cake stand.
Oh God, don't get me started on cake stands. My partner's mum is obsessed with cake stands. Any excuse to get the cake stand, and we just want to eat the cake. We really don't need the stand. She's like, no, I've got to find it. I need to wash it. We've got to put the cake on it. It's like, no, I just want to eat. Go through each piece of Vicky's decor. They critique the crap out of it. So, well, not only, of course, is Vicky right in all of the things she said about Bruce, which he's then confirmed by just shoving her. But he comes in here with more horrible dialogue. Because he goes, you're a real nice girl and I like you a lot. But for right now, shut up.
Oh, man.
Like, oh, jeez. Don't say that.
You need to... That's like, mansplaining. It's like, listen here, darling. I'm going to need you to be quiet and let the man speak, all right? Shh, you're
Oh,
very nice.
it's-
You're a nice girl, and nice girls need to learn how to shut up.
Oh, it's
I'll
unsettling.
make you shut up.
What's even more unsettling the fact though that Vicky does immediately go quiet. It's kind of like maybe she's just genuinely scared of this guy now. It's more
Oh
like
my god, I'm gonna call the cops.
this is more like if I try to get back up, he's gonna get even rougher with me. This is a terrifying situation.
Yeah.
Especially the speech he starts off next about the two personalities, right? Doesn't it sound like he's about to confess to murders?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh god. Like I would be panicked at this point. You know how we have two sides to us? I'm like, oh no. Oh god.
This is his dark
God.
side.
I'm gonna show you my real side. Like, come on, when someone has told you that, has that not ever scared the ever-loving crap out of you because you think that's gonna go absolutely in the worst way? Like, this is where they tell me they've killed 25 people and they're gonna show me where the bodies are and how I'm gonna become one of them. You know, join me or die.
Oh my God.
And he's like, oh.
I'm so glad we were all on the same wavelength with this. It's so scary. I'm scared watching it.
This might be a prime opportunity within this minutes to mention the fact that Vicky Vale, this whole storyline of Vicky is very much inspired by a thing we've brought up in the past, the storyline done by Steve Englehart, Strange Apparitions, which is features not Vicky Vale, but Silver St. Cloud, who people will recall for the longest time in all the treatments of this film was Vicky Vale, and then they turned it into Silver.
They just decided to change her name because they felt like it? Because they were like, nah, we don't want to pay, give that guy an extra 20 pounds or whatever it was.
The thing is, though, because we talk about, within Strange Apparitions, there's a whole thing of Silver St. Cloud, who actually does look quite a bit like Kim Basinger as well, in a kind of weird way. But she, first time, this in the 70s, that they kind of dealt with like what was love interest, began to suss out Batman's identity, and there's a scene where he's fighting Deadshot, and she shouts at Bruce, and he looks over, and like it's that little things. And apparently, there's scenes of her recognizing his chin, which is a thing we joked about in the past in the Batmobile, because he's like, she's looking at his chin loads. But I guess that's what they're going for.
I assume that if you're dating someone, let's say after like time number maybe like 6, like a costume's not going to make the difference. Like who have you like gone to a costume party, even if they're dressed like head to toe? All they're going to do is like say one thing and you're like, oh, it's such and such, Even in phone calls.
Yeah, even your friends. yeah.
But Steve Englehart, the artist, who the writer of Strange Apparitions, did do a treatment for this movie as well, and he is a very, very embittered about the whole experience because he feels that watching this movie is like, yeah, this is Strange Apparitions. They've stolen things from my treatment, and then they didn't give me much credit for it. And then he brings up that it happened again with books he wrote, Dark Detective 2 and 3, and he says that's The Dark Knight. And like the thing is, though, I was like, well, come on, how likely is that? I've looked into it because I've never read Dark Detective 2 or 3, and having gone through his description of what happens and showing you pictures from it, it totally is The Dark Knight. And it's like, holy crap, they really screwed this guy over. Yeah, it's all about as a do-gooder politician who looks weirdly like Aaron Eckhart, who has run-ins with the Joker, and all of a sudden he gets crippled on one side and turns evil and stuff. It's like, yeah, that's totally. And within that story, Two-Face is already a thing, and he's the one who visits him and convinces him to go evil and stuff. Whereas, Steve Englehart himself is like, yeah, because that makes sense in that story. Why the Joker shows up to Harvey Dent makes no sense whatsoever.
I didn't get that at all. That doesn't make sense. That I always thought was a thing. Like I never understood. Like I know people love to death the Dark Knight. But I always thought, I'm like, dude, he killed your love, the love of your life, and you like you're gonna be like, yeah, no, you're right. It really was Batman. I'm like, no. Obviously, you'd be like, even if you're deranged and have lost it because you lost the love of your life. You're not going to be so easily convinced by that person. Like, it's not me. It was Batman. Like, oh, wait. Good point. It really, if I really think about it, it really was Batman. And you're completely innocent. No, don't mind me. I'm off to kill Batman. Like, what?
Yeah, I don't buy that. I love everything else, but that's just strange.
Well, to be fair, The Dark Knight, it's more, it's Gordon he sets after, really, isn't it? It's more like, oh, it was the people who put you. It wasn't me who put this position.
Even worse.
Even though it totally was.
Yeah,
but,
even worse. Like, oh man.
I would say we should get Steve Englehart on the show to plead his case, but looking at the blog he's written, I think he's very, very angry about the whole experience. So it's like, it's probably best maybe not to tease that bear, as it were, you know. But we should just mention though, the Silver St. Cloud story and Strange Apparitions did have a fair bit of influence over the Vicky Vale storyline. So there's a thing I've been waiting to address, and I've been waiting for a minute to do it. And here we go. There you go.
Even has alliteration like that. Vicky Vale, Silver St. Cloud.
Yeah, totally.
That's a comic book thing in general, isn't it?
I love how people's names have to do also what they're going to become. Like, you know, Victor Von Doom. Like, with that name, you would inevitably become a villain.
Well, and then there's the Riddler's name, Edward Nigma.
Who the other one I was thinking of? Harleen Quinzel.
Yeah.
Oh, that one's so stupid. There's no one's called that.
I know Harleen in real life. Like, Harleen is a name. Quinzel.
It's too Quinzel with it as well.
I think the worst of it is Victor Freeze.
Oh,
because it's not spelled the same way though, but it's like his name's Victor Freeze, spelled differently, and he turns into a guy who freezes things for like that's his whole.
Oh man, I'm working on an act actually. I don't know if I've ever told you guys this because I do like burlesque acts sometimes, and me and my dance partner we're gonna do a Mr. Freeze one because our friends hold a Gotham night burlesque night. You know, and they have one of the girls. She's a perfect redhead. You know, we have a Poison Ivy. We have our Harley Quinn, Joker. You know, the Penguin is a tap dancer that we got. He's like awesome.
Amazing.
Yeah. So I was like, we haven't joined the show yet, and we're like, oh yeah, let's do one. We'll do Nora Freeze and Mr. Freeze, you know, and we're gonna use a bubble gun. We're like, let's use a bubble gun as this freeze gun. And then we also found out, so we were thinking, oh, let's use dry ice. It's horrible. It stinks. Or fog machines. It'll give you like a kind of a scratchy throat. But what we found is a freaking steam cleaner. A steam cleaner really gives this right look on it's not even hot. It just looks like, you know, what you would imagine the freeze gun would look like.
Oh, cool.
Oh, that's fantastic. You're actually inadvertently then the second burlesque performer we've had on.
Yeah, that's right, actually. Yeah.
We're former guest of the show, Audra Wolfman.
Yeah, see, a lot of nerds are also into burlesque. Come on, we're all into. You like your geeky, you like your sexy. I think there's always been a bit of overlap. Like, you know, there's a reason, like, there's a bit of overlap in that. Yeah.
That sounds like really, that'd be a thing, like, you know, if anyone's there to film the whole act or anything, make sure to post it up and we can send it out to the Twitter.
Oh, yeah, no, I will definitely send it, like, once we ever get to it. If it gets done, they'll have to redo the shows. See, right now I'm doing a play through my house. I don't know if this is going to work. It sounds like the most insane idea I've ever had. But it's not Batman themed because I have no theme yet. But I'm like, I'm sending people through my entire house as like a little maze, and I have my actor friends each in a room to do like a weird 5-minute act and then send them out.
You could do this scene. Just have like, you know, the woman blows up at man until he shoves her into chair. There you go.
Well, she actually, Vicky does something that I've brought up before because Bruce says to her, you know, sometimes a person will actually have to lead a different life. And Vicky says, oh my God, you're married. Oh,
yeah.
Which is quite a logical assumption to make. It's either serial killer or married.
Yeah, you're right. Married actually isn't too bad. I kept thinking she was going to say, you're gay. Oh my God, you're gay.
Okay.
Like that.
Oh, and this is cover.
Yeah.
I think I get it mixed up with, because there's a scene in The Simpsons, again. We mention The Simpsons all the time in this record.
I love The Simpsons, though, right? Well, seasons 1 through 10.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah.
Oh, of course, yeah.
But the episode where Mo is dating Helen Hunt, or you know, a character voiced by Helen Hunt, and he does a whole thing like he has to tell her because he's obviously set up this whole thing to get Homer put in prison and set
the Hawaii trip. I remember that one.
And there's a bit where like he's just he's like, oh, I have to tell you something. And she's just like, oh, you're gay. Oh, you're married, right? And he's just like, oh, no, not that. Hey, why'd you say gay first? And it's just kind of like, I always get that scene and this scene kind of mixed up. It's like, I have in my head.
I thought the same thing. Well. She was going to say, oh, you're gay. Asterisk, there's nothing wrong with being gay, but this was made in the late 1980s where like people were all meh about it. So there you go. Asterisk.
Yeah.
So we all know. Everybody's okay with that now.
Yeah, but
well, I've brought it up before, but the original draft of this had a different section where she also thought that Bruce must have a wife. So this seems to be like a point they were really set on for this movie. It's like she needs to think he's married.
Like, but who wouldn't know that? He's super rich. Like, you can't hide a wife.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah, couldn't you just look that up? Like, that'd be
the thing
common
is,
knowledge.
I actually went to see a couple of weeks back John Ronson, the journalist, the guy who wrote The Men Who Stare at Goats and things like that. He's doing a current tour called Psychopath Night. And he brings out a woman, and she has her whole story is she met a man, fell in love with him, and then he kept telling her that eventually at one point he said, like, I have to tell you something. I'm a spy. And he had this whole prolonged story about like, I work for the government and I have to go off on these trips all the time and things like that. And eventually, though, she started getting very suspicious of it, and she followed him down one time. And then he was like, I think he's having an affair. But she went in and she saw this house and stuff, and he kept kind of the way he talked to her and the way that he kind of convinced her, like, I must be, this is crazy what I'm doing. And he went down, she saw this house that had all these satellites outside. And then eventually she's like, that must be the government agency. Sorry, I'm going crazy. And then eventually she found out, like a couple of months later, not only was he having an affair, he had about like 7 other families. And
oh my God. That takes a lot of, like, how do you have time for that?
Yeah, it was crazy. And she was saying the whole point of a lot of the point of the night was to go about the differences between a psychopath and like a narcissist. And the whole thing is like, well, your crime of passion can never be done by a psychopath because psychopaths don't have any kind of emotion. They don't have any feeling. That's how you classify them. And she was like, yeah, he was a definite psychopath because he just did not care that he was doing it at all. And he just sort of did it just for the fun of it, really. But she's even saying like, it's weird because like other families have popped up since. She'd be sitting talking about like, yeah, we found another one that he had. All this and stuff. And he was getting money off them and doing this and that. And it's just like,
oh, wow. That's,
yeah,
it reminds me of like that song from Chicago, You remember he had it coming, and one of the songs is about like not only was he married, he had 5 wives. One of those Mormons, I'm like, oh my God, yeah, exactly, one of those situations, eh? I don't.
How do you have time for that? Like I barely have time for me, my girlfriend, and my cat.
I don't know how you. That's a hell of a juggling experiment that you have to do, like to maintain those relationships. It's one thing to be dating multiple people, like oh, yeah, if it's still in the very casual stages, there could be some overlap between a few. But, like straight up having families, like, what, like children and stuff? Like, hi, Billy. Oh, Bobby. Oh, yeah, that's one. Which one are you?
You could name them all sequentially. You could, like, one set of kids, it's like A, B, C.
What if he names them all the same thing
D.
to, like, not confuse himself? Like,
even better.
We're going to call him Jimmy. Are you sure you like that name? Yeah, Jimmy. Jimmy, and Jimmy. All right, Jimmy, Stacy, Meg.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah. You imagine though if he tried to host a podcast at the same time, he would that house of cards would fall right down because like the time suck that is the editing process of a podcast.
Oh, yeah. I can see that. I mean, YouTube videos also take hours.
Oh, I imagine so.
And those are not like even the most basic of YouTube video takes you a few hours. I would say that I always give it like per minute is per hour you'll edit. Unless you don't edit it all that much. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I'm lazy. I'm just like, I'm going to let this just go.
Oh, I couldn't do it personally because I still am kind of getting over listening to myself. But the actual idea of sitting down looking at myself and then hearing my voice on top of it is like, I could do that.
The thing is, on YouTube, people will find every single flaw about you, whatever it is you look like. Like, I constantly like this, like, oh, you have a lazy eye, and you have a speech impediment, and also you're looking a little fat. And what's wrong with your face? Why do you look so tired? Are you drunk? Like, that's I'm like, okay. First off, shut up. Like, yeah, all right. I'm sorry. I'm a human being. I didn't have like 90 minutes in the freaking makeup trailer. All right, and I wasn't able to like have a gaffer come light me, which is why like people on film look the way they do. I don't know if you know this, but because I've not only made film, I've also been in them. That's how it works. It's an optical illusion, my friends. All right, people. Do not look like that. You have to like get freaking like the makeup chair takes you hours. Sometimes, yeah. But I would say
no. I refuse to believe that Scarlett Johansson doesn't look like that. Come on.
Now I do give her Scarlett Johansson credit. She is in amazing shape. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, and she is a beautiful woman. She is a beautiful woman. But there's a process to these things.
But it's still trickery.
You still have to get. There's someone measuring her costumes to look exactly just right to be the most flattering that they could possibly be.
Yeah.
All right.
But anyway,
back to our scene.
I had a thing about clothes to do with Batman here because Bruce says no, he's not married, and he takes his coat off finally because I thought he's inside It doesn't look particularly cold. Bruce is wrapped up warm. He should have took that thing off straight away. He's wearing he's got the coat, he's got the jacket, he's got the waistcoat, he's got the shirt. He looks like the kind of guy who might have a vest under that.
Yeah, good point.
He's a sweaty man.
The thing is that he takes off the coat quite violently, which is adding to Vicky's tension. I'm like, holy crap, what's he doing?
So you're not married till you are a serial killer. Oh, no.
But not to nip into spoiler territory for upcoming minutes, but like, this coat, I don't think we ever see this coat again. Does he leave it there when he has to, do a runner later on? Is Vicky just like, oh yeah, by the way, she comes into the Batcave later on in the movie. She's like, by the way, I have your coat. I brought the coat with me.
Well, I mean, he is rich.
He doesn't need. He can buy a new coat.
He could buy a new coat. Maybe he thinks, well, this is my girlfriend's place. I'm going to leave some of my stuff here. Because when I come around, I might need a coat.
Well, not girlfriend quite yet, but.
Well, if he's telling her he's Batman, that has to be like, you should be popping the question before you're telling her you're Batman. All right, let's be perfectly frank here.
Maybe he's going to do both at once. It's like, by the way, I'm Batman. And also, we should probably get married now because you know my secret.
I should have asked that first.
But it reminded me as well. It's actually weird that I was talking to someone about this earlier today as well. But a friend of a mutual friend of me and John, Dave, he at one point, because everyone knows a Dave.
It's true. I know at least like 7.
It's true.
He at one point went to a party. He had just bought a jumper, and he doesn't usually. It's probably he earns enough money that he probably does buy relatively expensive clothes, but they're not like he doesn't come in dressed in a freaking suit all the time. He's usually just t-shirts and jeans and stuff. But he just bought like an 80-pound jumper, and he went to a party of someone he didn't know as well as the rest of us, and apparently took off that jumper, forgot it at the party, and then the next day he was just like, well, how's that gone? I was like, well, we know her. Just ring her up and say, can I come around and get the jumper? No, I can't do that. And he was just so socially awkward that he's like, nah, I can't do that. And
right, I suffer from severe anxiety, but if I've spent
I'm
80
gonna go
quid,
get that. Me too. I'm the same. Like, actually, I have a friend of mine who left his jumper here on Thanksgiving, because I still celebrate Thanksgiving because I'm a true American. He left it here, and
I was really hoping you were going to go into the Hulk Hogan theme tune there for a second. Like, come on, do it.
No, I was going to do that cheesy, was it that cheesy freaking song? I'm proud to be an American, or at least I know I'm free. It's like ridiculous. All right. So anyway, he's left his freaking jumper here. It's been on my sofa for like, 3 weeks at this point. So I keep thinking, and I'm like, all right, you better come get it. And like, 2 things will happen. I'm like, I'm going to either take it and put it in my wardrobe, like get it washed and it'll become mine. And he can't have it back. I'm like, all right, fine, it's mine now. It's pretty nice, actually. Or he could come back and get it. But I was planning on like doing a video of me, like I have a little fire pit outside, of me like throwing it in the fire pit, but like it's not lit yet, and then dousing it in lighter fluid, but it's not lighter fluid. It was going to be washing machine liquid, but it looks like lighter fluid, and then cut to the washing machine.
Perfect. Yes.
I think I will. I'll have to clean out the fire pit though. It's full of ash and now mud because it's been raining all day, so it's like mucky ash.
Well, I mean that original jumper story is years ago now, but that's same kind of thing.
Well, if it was years ago, imagine the inflation. That means that thing is like 120 pounds now. I am going back for that.
Even more because him and his wife, they've been redoing the house, and they've had to put in new floors. And he said to me at one point, like, yeah, a lot of the wood hasn't arrived. And we called up the people, and they said, oh, no, it was delivered. And I was like, oh, so what? They must have delivered to the wrong house. He's like, yeah, maybe. I'm like, well, why don't you go ask the neighbors? No. I don't want that. That'd be weird. I'm like,
dude, no one talks to their neighbors nowadays. I hate talking to my neighbors. I got locked out of my house, and thus I would have to jump the neighbor's fence to go into my house. And I was terrified. I was like, I want to talk to these people. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I'll do anything not to speak to them, to be honest.
Please. Oh, no. They're looking at me. Oh, God. No, I made the fatal error once of actually being nice to my neighbors, and it was horrible because you know what they did? They started complaining about everything. In a very offhanded, friendly way. You know, that like, oh, hi. We were just wondering if you were going to put any carpet into your staircase because we can hear you guys going up and down the stairs. And I'm like, oh, well, no, because I have like allergies, so I can't put carpet in the house. Why would I ruin my nice wood stairs for you assholes?
Well, I'm sure listeners will be like, you might have gathered this is a light minute for Batman because we've talked about everything else but what's actually happening.
Well, only one other thing actually happens, really. Bruce says, my life is really complex. Vicky kind of nods along, and then he says,
complexly gay.
It's weird, though, because the second you said that, because I live above a pub, and there must be football going on downstairs, because when you said complex, everyone downstairs went, oh, at the same time. That was a really weird reaction.
Well, that's no excuse for the way he's treated her, though.
No,
he has a complex
life.
Screw
complex
you.
life. Learn how to not hit people. Not hit people. Push them. You keep your hands to yourself.
Well, then he says the very last thing in this minute, to end the minute, he goes, all right, listen.
Like she wasn't listening.
Whoa.
Like, listen here, honey. Now that I've gotten you quiet and sat down, and I have power over you because I'm standing above you, just like my finger up high, like, he's got that finger pointed.
Yeah, he is pointing, isn't he? That's even more aggressive. It's like, ah. It's like, I mean, you're a swell dame.
I know, it looks like right out of a noir film. Oh. Listen here, honey. You don't know my life, and I don't know yours. You got to sit down and listen to me. There's some bad people out there.
Oh, God.
Anyway.
I think that's it. That's it for this minute, because I can't think of anything else.
One other note I've got is that I thought it kind of added like another layer to the character, but they cut it out. In the closest to the final draft that I can get, the iteration of the scene has Vicky mention, before she does her whole, like, oh, you must be some kind of jerk. She does mention the fact that, like, beyond, you didn't call, all that kind of stuff. She does say, like, and then I saw you walk through bullets like you were trying to commit suicide, which is like, oh, that kind of adds like there is a scene earlier during the Joker's whole business on the steps of City Hall. Bruce does, like, he gets grazed by a bullet and he just doesn't seem to react. We talked about that scene at length way back when, but it is kind of like, her saying like that is kind of like, does this version of Batman have like a kind of bit of a, well, does every version of Batman have a kind of like a suicidal thing of like, he's obviously very well prepared for everything, but he is inherently putting himself in insane danger all the time. And it's I thought that if that line had been there could have been the debate of like, was he kind of like the way he was approaching the Joker, just not caring about the bullets? Was there a sort of a psychologically layered part to it? But they cut it out.
Oh, man.
So screw that.
That's way too complicated for you 80s audience. No, let's be honest. They do the same thing now. Like, you guys all watched Suicide Squad, didn't you?
Well, yes, you keep that in mind, everybody. And join us again on Friday. Where can our good listeners find you and your work?
All right, so you guys can look me up as Caffine Jedi on YouTube or on Facebook, CAFFINE Jedi. All one word, and you can see me and my little weird vlogs and blogs, and I also write a comic book, and eventually that's going to be up there too, so you'll see it.
We'll share that for you then if you send us.
Definitely will.
And everybody check those out, and check us out. You can join the Bat Minute 89 Listeners Society on Facebook for all your Bat chat, and you can just talk about anything Batman related. It doesn't even have to be the movie. Yeah. You can just talk about anything. It doesn't even have to be about Batman. Whatever.
Got the vibe from this episode, like we barely talked about Batman at all. So,
with reason, to be fair, this time. Yes, and shoot us a tweet at BatMinute89 as well. And join us again on Friday, because we will be back once more, where we will have minute 78 of Batman. Next time, domestic disturbance. As a major mystery begins to unwind, a damnable doorbell suddenly chimes. But which carnivalesque cur will now accompany our troubled couple? Find out Friday. Same Bat Pod.
Different Bat Minute.